Welcome to episode 5 of Thoth Reacts. You are tapping in to the root of the symmetry. I am your boy, Tahuti Trismegistus, aka Chase Clarence Calloway. And in today's episode, we are about to get into this man. You may have heard of him. His name is Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson. He's sort of like an icon to white men everywhere, basically, I'm pretty sure. Like, when I meet white dudes who are cultured, they never fail to enjoy Jordan Peterson. Never. Like, anyone of any other race, like, it doesn't matter. They may not know him. But Jordan Peterson is here for white people to care just a little more about things that don't seem to benefit their ego immediately. So that's why he's so popular. You know, he's out here talking about like ancient culture, wisdom, basically just everything. Like, he's out here talking about everything so that you can get a little more wisdom in your life. That's why people love Jordan Peterson. He's pretty cool. We're all here doing this in our own way. So what we're reacting to here in episode 5 is a specific clip that I was sent where he's talking about me. This person's like, yo, like, is he actually talking about you? Is this accurate? How do you feel about this? And this clip titled Jordan Peterson on Hermes Trismegistus, we're going to see how he goes more into Mercury and how Hermes and Mercury are connected and the role that gods, aka creators, because the whole point of a god is that it's a spirit creating reality. A demon is a spirit consuming reality. So, you know, there's so many demons everywhere because like people go into reality to consume it. And then there's that small group of spirits who are gods because they create. And then they create something for demons to consume. And now we have balance. So he's talking about the creator, Hermes Trismegistus, and being linked to Mercury and how that's all connected in ancient cultures. And then how that can apply to your life so you can kind of just, have some more wisdom, have a greater perspective. This is the whole point of wisdom. This is the whole point of sharing our perspectives. We get closer to spirit. We can start to see more. We can be like, oh, okay. Before I was lost in my ego. I thought everything was separate. I couldn't see the forest from the trees, right? Like, I just thought I was in the woods and my whole life was woods. But now a bird picked me up and I can see there's an ocean over here. There's a desert over here. There's a tundra over here. And there's all these different environments that spirits have different bodies in. And they're all connected. So that's the point of wisdom. For us to just learn more and more about how everything is connected. By who? By us. By what? Our feeling. It just needs to look individual so we can stabilize it, you know, earth stuff. And then we can build in a way that's authentic to our individuality. Let's get in here.
$200 question on Super Chat. Now, Hermeticism, Hermes Thoth, Anthropos, the true vessel of alchemy being man, the Magnum Plus, M.A. Atwood. Would it surprise you that I read all this midsummer only months before your videos went viral? Please extrapolate on the terms above and leave the new age bullshit out of it. All right, so there's a lot there. What can you take from a question?
Lord. I feel that. Leave the new age bullshit out of it. So already we see this person asking this question on this show. Again, everyone knows that Thoth and Hermes are the same spirit. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Hermes is my air. Hermes is how my higher self, Irisel, communicates his imagination. Thoth, Tahuti, is my earth. So that's how Irisel stabilizes his imagination.
You want to go with one of these?
Okay, sure. Hermes. We're going to call him Mercury, Mercurius for the sake of argument. Okay, so I'm going to lay this out a little bit. This is an alchemy.
Yeah, see, that's why I'm saying, like, it's Hermes, but, like, Mercurius is more so, Hermes is me as an individual. Like actually, Hermes is me as an individual. Hermes Trismegistus, thrice great. Mercury is what me as an individual I relate with the most, and the space I correlate with the most. And this is a space that we all have, which we all are, balance. And the fact that all things are created out of balance. And balance is air. Air is a combination of fire and water. It's just that wisdom is knowing that life is created from water, from two. It's not created from one. Life can't be created from fire. We don't see fire in the environment. Fire is not nurturing. It's only water that's nurturing. Of course, again, it's about balance. If you literally just had water, that's chaotic, you're drowning. You're not igniting fire into that to create air so that now Earth can like stabilize out of it. So, this is what we're talking about with gods and how we basically use ourselves to express ourselves, use these creations, use these light bodies to express our individual imaginations and our feelings about such. And that's how we build anything together. And then we come up with these words and names, and then anything that a spirit authored or is like most congruent to them, that's going to be what they're associated with.
Cool idea. So, first of all, if you mix mercury with ore that has gold in it, the mercury will pick up the gold. So that's interesting. So that's the magic of mercury, is that it will take the gold out of the raw material. Okay, so now remember at the beginning of the conversation I said that if you're going to read Macbeth, the idea is to extract out from it a valid and implementable philosophy, behavioral.
And this is just him getting deep into extraction and wisdom and alchemy, social alchemy, mental alchemy. How no matter what you're looking at, you can pull wisdom out of it. The wisdom is knowing that everything's connected. Everything's connected to you. So it's not about what you're looking at. It's about like asking those questions like why? Why are you looking at it? Like what's going on? Like all that subconscious stuff. That's going to be the wisdom. The what is, surface level.
Well, that's extracting the gold out from the ore. Okay, so now Mercurius is also the winged messenger of the gods, and so he flits around. Now that's what your attention.
Like Spider-Man. This is why Spider-Man resonates with me really hard. Spider-Man is big time Hermes, big time Mercury energy. Just flipping. He's a whole messenger. That's what spiders are all about. Spiders being 8-dimensional beings. They are all about the subconscious wisdom realm. That's where we get Spider-Verse then. And that whole concept of how there's Spider-Man through all these dimensions, because they're all connected through webs of time. Some sort of structure where they're constantly kicking like Mercury in all realms and realities. With great power comes great responsibility. And they're out here doing the work because they feel that because they have this power, they have a responsibility to do something with it. So they're choosing to show up. And like that's those spirits.
See, because your attention is always being pulled in different ways by forces that you don't understand. This is the fundamental insight of psychoanalysis, and probably its most terrifying insight, is that your very attention is controlled by forces that you do not understand. Now, the ancient...
That's fair. Yeah, he's literally talking about spirits and how with everything being communication, literally. Pretty cool, Jordan Peterson. Might get spiritual, but what he is literally getting at is how your body as a consciousness is being created from your subconsciousness, which is being created from your unconsciousness. So you have a body being created from your mind, which is created from your spirit. And your mind is dual. So if you have a mind that's fighting itself, then you can already have so many different like mentalities inside of that once you create a body, especially if you don't like those mentalities and you make that body to run away from yourself, your body will look very chaotic because you're going to be struggling with those mentalities inside the body, and then your mind's projecting it into the environment, and now like that's your body life, dealing with your mind, because that's all it will ever be.
Considered those forces. It's more complex than this.
So, right. Yeah, well, I did just say that. With your body being operated by your mind, and if your mind has a lot of mentalities already, your body is going to seem like it's being operated by so many different minds, because it's all these ideas and feelings that you don't have under control, and you're not actually corralling properly. To go even deeper, then, this is where you're not having life alone at all. Like, that was all just you alone. But now you're experiencing life connected to everyone who is on the same planet as you. Like, everyone's creating this reality together. If you can see each other, that means you both have the same chi. You're both connected in that way. So that's what allows you to communicate. So what other spirits do influences your attention. It's not just you as a body. It's also like how your mind is interacting with other minds, and how your spirit is interacting with other spirits. Like, that's literally, like, it's like multiple tiers of interactions. Spirits interacting with spirits, and then the minds they create interacting with each other. And then these minds create bodies, which are worlds, which is this physical reality that we then anchor our minds into, the mind being invisible because the spirit is nothing. So when the spirit creates that first thing and all the mind, the mental stuff, it's invisible. And then we have physical reality, the body, because the mind is like, okay, I'm trying to experience. So, of course, that's how the mind is the tether between the spirit and the body, always. And what other spirits are doing around you, of course, like, draws your attention off. And if you are not a god, quote unquote, as in you don't love being alone and you can't really create from your own space, then your mind is even more so just at the whim of how others create from their space. And that's kind of what we saw with Mashona Cyrus, Myflona Gyrus, that stuff, the comic book air particle stuff that just like really exists on the phones and exists to make money for the people pushing out these ideas. But because people are so disconnected from their spirit and they fear death so much, they just have to believe this. And now, boom, even more lostness. So that's how the government, in that case, plays God and draws your attention. And that's what we've seen with these phones, right? That's the whole thing. I'm using a phone. We're on phones all the time. Our attention is drawn away from ourselves into our phone. You probably can't go a day without your phone. I know I freak out. Everyone I know freaks out when they lose their phone. We're cyborgs now. Like, our phone is an extension of us. It's an extension of how we connect here. That's how ingrained it seemingly is now into our biology. At least that's what they want. Which is why they're actually trying to just inject it into your biology. And it has been.
Or we'll call them gods. They're trying to orient you in a particular direction for some reason. They do that by making things more vivid for you than they would otherwise be. Those things attract your attention. Now,
interesting. This is just the same way you described the porn actresses a second ago.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's a very similar mechanism.
Yeah.
But some of that's your choice because you aim at something and then things manifest themselves. But some of that's the result of these unconscious forces illuminating parts of the world and darkening other parts. Well, they illuminate your path. Well, you could say that all those unconscious forces, imagine those.
See, so when he's saying unconscious forces, unconscious is spirit. So that's literally the spirit forces. When spirits come together to create reality, this is why nothing is a coincidence. The only coincidence is spirit. But like, everything from there is intentional because it's spirits expressing themselves together. So when you like experience like wild things happening, or like experience like, whoa, what a coincidence. It's like, was it a coincidence? Or did your spirit set this up so that your bodies could ride the wave and then have this whatever experience that you're labeling a coincidence because it feels so deep? Like, whoa, how can physical reality synchronize so deeply with what I've got going on that no one knows, because you are a spirit making life with the other spirits. So yeah, the point is we're not doing this alone. The gods are the spirits who create. They can direct your energy where they want it to. They can illuminate things in the environment. What he's literally talking about right now is like the way that white supremacists, technology, the Industrial Revolution type entities have been using metal, have been using light. Oh, snap. The screen recording stopped. That's wild. This is how they've been using metal. This is how they've been using light to... Yeah, I'm just distracted because the screen recording stopped. Hold up. This is how, using metal and using light to draw your attention elsewhere. It's weird that this is doing this right now. See, like when I'm talking about like how things can draw your attention. So whoever created this computer, like this should be recording. Like this should still be recording. Like there's no reason it keeps stopping. I know I have memory and stuff on my computer. It's never done this before. So I'm only going to use it to illustrate my point. Illustrate my point. The point that whoever created the space that you're focusing on can draw your attention away from your mind. So I'm communicating something specific, but because the thing I'm focusing on, my computer, is now diverting and stopping the programs and shutting down the recording and everything, I'm now diverted. My attention's diverted. I'm now focusing on the person who created this and everything that happened here because I have to. That's because whoever created this computer and whoever is orchestrating the internet, all these entities, they are quote unquote gods. Like the way that this wave is going, as far as you're on the internet watching me and just how the internet is spreading across the world, that's sort of the point, to manipulate the way people perceive reality. So we have this one reality that our bodies are connected to, but we can also be forced to pay money because we have to get connected to this reality, because it's actually dangerous to be out in nature according to this reality. And because everyone's already obsessed with this reality, even if you're not obsessed with the technology reality, now you're crazy for thinking that you can connect with people in real life without getting pumped with a foreign fluid or without just separating entirely, which defeats the purpose of you making a body on this earth in the first place. Okay, trying this again. Because that's just a perfect example then of how things in the environment, whatever you're focused on, that's the chi, that's what's already being communicated. My computer's communicating to me. It needs electricity to communicate with me, to project this light out so that I can project my feeling into the light and think I know what's going on. I had to be conditioned to think that I'm looking at people when I'm looking at the screen. Really, all these objects are literally just nothing. It's just then when we develop these relationships with it, we make them seem and feel like something. Okay, let's see what's up.
The pantheon of the gods, and they're trying to send you a message about how to act. Well, they do that by sending Mercurius, who flits around, and he's the thing that glimmers, that captures your attention. Okay, now the Jungian idea, it's a brilliant idea, is that the integration of all these unconscious
with my caduceus
elements, their integration into a functional unit, then manifests itself in your field of experience as an interesting pathway. And if you take that interesting pathway, you unfold.
Yeah.
And so it's the manner in which the instinct that drives you to self-realization interacts with you. And so for Jung, he would say, well, that's the...
Wow, and we're back, because then my phone cut off. So here we are, technology things, attention, the lessons all here. Cool. You know, I'm creating my own reality, you see? But no matter how much I'm creating my own reality, I'm at the whim of how technology is functioning. And technology is functioning as well as the entities who made it desire it to function. I mean, I can spiritually imbue it with energy, but obviously we're talking logically and practically. This technology is only as good as the people who made it want it to be and actually made it to effectively be. And then, boom, it doesn't matter what you're doing, your technology can stop you and block your flow all the time. We see that all the time. All content creators feel me, right? Like, your art doesn't exist if it's not on the internet. So everyone has dealt with this. As an artist that I know, the artist has dealt with technology blocking their flow of outputting, of expressing themselves. Because we're at the whim of the gods, the communication thing. So just illustrating how natural this is all the time and how we're seeing it play out constantly when we just pick up our phones in general. Anytime you see a news article, you have no idea if it's real or not. A god put that in front of you. So they're just creating that reality. So the more people believe the news articles gods put in front of them that are illuminated on their screen, the more gods can manifest that. That's how those gods manifest. By making you believe that what they said happened. And now you create that vibration and operate in that space and make it so. When I say gods, I mean creator demons, as in demons, because they can only create as far to consume your attention, which is what we're seeing. Anyone who needs your attention is someone who's kind of not fulfilled on their own. So colonizers, looking at you. Why aren't you happy in your own world? Why do you feel like you need to keep going and taking over other people's lands and then making up all these ideas about how they're evil and how somehow you are not for doing evil things? And then you get to judge them for not doing nearly any of the evil things that you are. But it's like this weird projection narrative because, you know, if you make other people look like a demon, then you can kill them and feel better about it. But it's like, to make them look like a demon, you had to put your own demon onto them. Like, come on, bro.
Which was ineffable. It's your full potential or something like that, manifested itself in cross sections of time as that which grabbed your interest. It's an amazing, it's an absolutely amazing idea. You know, now think about it this way.
Oh.
A book will grip.
And that psychologist, Carl Jung, right, just talking about the soul, but of course can only do it in their psychology terms to make it seem like it's just scientific and logical, when fine, if it is and that's what you're lost in, that's cool. That is just a product of the spirit, and that's the point. So whatever.
What does that mean? That it gripped you. It means it had you in its palm. Well, what had you in its palm? You know, these are things. And you're inspired by it. Well, inspired by what? What does that even mean? It means all of a sudden a new path has illuminated itself for you. And the Greek idea would be that the panoply of gods had sent a messenger, Mercurius, who flits around, and he captured your attention and pulled you down that path.
He's in that book, and ironically, you could burn that book in 2 seconds and it would be gone, but the path would be forever illuminated.
That's how it be.
Which is really a beautiful thing.
Lit. And that was Jordan Peterson talking a little bit about Hermes Trismegistus and alchemy and Carl Jung. So specifically talked about Hermes, cool, real, Hermes and Thoth, entity who authored these things. So then he took that to Mercurius, and Mercurius was then his whole leading segue into the psychology talk to make it like even more applicable to I guess like scientific psychology people, whatever. the society, the logic that people are lost in currently, and how gods manipulate the environment to grab your attention. And that's literally just your spirit. Your spirit manipulates the environment. So when he's saying unconscious, literally spirits, your spirit is unconscious. And when he's talking about Carl Jung, and Carl Jung saying that like the thing stretching beyond time space and how like that's you, that's your soul, because your unconscious is nothing, but your subconscious is then that infinite feeling that would stretch beyond time and space, because your feeling doesn't stop or end. Like your feelings just cycling. That's how you feel, just feeling and feeling and feeling. And then that looks individual, because as a spirit you are individual, so you're always trying to like then change and level up your feeling. This is where we get thought. So yeah, is that it? I think that's it. We did it. Absolutely. Thoth Reacts Part 5. Finito. Enjoy your day. Stay easy. Stay breezy. Much love. Mwah. Mwah.